Hi, my name is Rueby Wood, and I play Nate in the new Disney Plus movie Better Nate Than Ever. And this is Young Entertainment Mag.
What was it like finding out that you got the role of Nate?
It was really magical. So I was in this room actually. I was over there standing against that wall, and so I was on Zoom. I had just thought it was another callback, because I'd been doing callbacks for a whole month at this point. So I just thought it was another callback, and none of the casting team other than Tim knew that he was going to offer me the part on this Zoom. So we get on the Zoom, and he like kind of breaks it down for me. He's like, so before we start, I just want to say that it's down to you and one other kid, and I just want you to be prepared, because I know how hard it is when you don't get a role that you wanted. So just I hope you know that we really liked you, and we liked you so much that you got the role. And it was like my eyes got so big, and like I was just over, like I was deceased. It was incredible. It was magical. And it was definitely a great experience.
That's amazing. So that leads to another question. So, as an actor, you go on so many auditions and you get a lot of callbacks, and sometimes you don't know. I mean, you never know if you're going to get
Right.
the role, right? So,
Right.
and obviously you got this one. So, did the audition process feel any different to you? Did you have an inkling that you were going to get it? Did this feel like a special role to you, or was it kind of just like another audition that you were excited about, but just kind of another day?
Well, I've been auditioning for a long time, and you have to get 100 no's before you can get a yes. And you kind of have to live with it and know that, like, it's not personal. And yeah, it can be sad if it was a role you wanted, but that just means they found someone who was like perfect in the role. And like I've kind of learned to just like to go with that and be okay with whatever happens. But like the moment I read the script and finished the first audition that I sent in, like I knew, I think some part of me knew that like it was right for me. And I connected with the story so much, and I loved it. I loved the message, and I loved the story. And it was a very interesting, because it was in the midst of COVID, where everything was on, like, I mean, everything is on Zoom still, but
Yeah.
like all of the auditions and callbacks were on Zoom. So it was definitely different than being in person, like I had gotten used to. I'd gotten used to driving down to New York City to audition for like theater. um
Mhm.
but it was definitely interesting, but it was perfect.
That's amazing. So, what do you prefer? Do you prefer in-room auditions or Zoom, or is there one aspect that's, it's easier because it's on Zoom? Do you get less jitters, or does that have nothing to do with it?
Well, so it's definitely there. It's good. It's nice to be in person, because then you can kind of feed off the energy that's in the room, and
Mm,
you can like it's like you it's like a different energy. But it's also really nice to have it on Zoom. That way you can just like be at home,
yeah.
and you can like there's a lot that's different. But like you can be at home, it's because it's a more comfortable space for you. So I definitely think it helps make me less nervous. And
Mhm.
with the audition specifically, like there's a lot of self tapes coming in, meaning like I film, like I film myself doing the scene in the song or whatever they need me to do, and then I send it in. So that's also nice, because like I can like do it once and then watch it and like tweak my performance and
Yeah.
then do it again. So there's definitely that aspect too.
That's amazing. That's such incredible insight. Um, so I would also love to ask, did you read the books before filming? And if you did, what were your initial thoughts about Nate as a character?
Um Well, so I actually did not read the books until I started auditioning. I apologize, Tim Federle. Um and but I started a book club with a really good friend of mine. And we read the books together, and we finished the first one, and we also finished the second one. I haven't read the third one yet because I got super busy with filming. But I love the story so much, and I feel like I can really connect with Nate. So when because he's from a small town, I'm from a small town, and he's a theater kid and I'm a theater kid. We both got to jump in and follow our dreams. So I feel like when I was on set, I could really translate that like directly into, like, I didn't really have to put on a character because I was just being me, and that was enough. So I adore the story. I think it's so witty and playful and important and inspiring, and I just have been I'm honored to be part of this production.
Absolutely. It's so cool that you were able to just be yourself, which is
Yeah.
why I'm sure that's part of why it translates so flawlessly on screen, because you're just being you. That's so special. It's probably rare in an actor's life that they get to play a role that's just so truly authentic to who they are. So congratulations on achieving
so
that
much.
at such a young age. It's very special. Speaking of Tim Federle, the writer of the book series, who also created the show High School Musical, the musical, the series, what was it like to work with Tim?
It was like truly and honestly incredible because he is, well, one, he's the nicest person you'll ever meet. He's super down to earth, and he just brings this energy onto set, and when he's there, like, everything just falls into place. And it was really incredible working with him. And one of the first things he said to me when I got the part was, which really resonated with me, and I feel like it's very important in this business, is he said, "We're gonna make you a movie star, and we're gonna keep you grounded." And I feel like I've been able to achieve that because of him, because he's there to not only like give me a gentle nudge in the right direction, but also like support me and make sure that I'm okay. And that was a really important piece of being on set, I think, for
Yeah.
me and for everyone else.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have another question for you that I was going to bring up a little later, but this seems like the perfect time as far as working with Joshua Bassett. And he experienced such an overwhelming amount of fame and incredible response at, a young age as well. So did it sounds like Tim definitely had some advice for you and was really adamant on keeping you grounded. Did Joshua have any advice for that same sort of thing? And what was that advice from both Tim and Joshua as far as keeping you grounded in the midst
Yeah.
of this fame, which is so exciting?
Yeah. Well, me and Josh are really close as well, and we've had long conversations about this specifically. And it's he like of course like he's an incredible person as well, and like he did get a lot of attention and a lot of fame, but because he did that and because he was working with Tim, I feel like it translates like right into, so now not only do I have Tim, but I also have Josh, like keeping me grounded and pulling me in the right direction. And a really great piece of advice that both Josh and Tim gave me was to like, no matter what mood you woke up in, no matter how your day went, if you can walk onto set and bring that like infectious, be like all your like your true self, like be like your bubbly ball of light, and you if you can walk onto set and just be that bubbly personality, then that'll like spread to everyone else, and it'll just make the entire experience much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Share that positive energy with everyone. I love that. Um, I was going to ask you what made you most excited to play the role of Nate, but it just sounds like it's your perfect match. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you would like to add to that?
Well, I definitely agree. Like me and Nate are so similar, not only in like our backgrounds and where we come from, but I auditioned for the movie with a song from Wicked, and he loves Wicked, and like we just share, we have so much in common. And as you can see, I really like the color green. Um
Mm-hmm.
and like he has a lucky green rabbit foot, and I really didn't know anything about the story until I auditioned. So it was all kind of it all just it was just perfect. It was just like the right time, right place.
Yeah, it all came together so perfectly. That's amazing. So I have to say, I definitely got choked up when Joshua's character, Anthony, your brother, screams out that he doesn't hate you. Nate being
uh
so, I know.
every time.
Yeah. Nate being so young and having so many internal struggles. And the only way it seems like he's really able to express them is when he's on stage.
Yep.
Did you feel that on a personal level as a performer and making that connection? Like, wow, your stage being your outlet to really express your issues
Yeah.
you're going through.
No, absolutely. That part of the movie like chokes me up too. It was such an incredible like moment. Like just like the acting and just like the energy put into it. And the song and that whole scene was just amazing. And theater is also my outlet. And I was really lucky to have like such an amazing support system as I grew up, because my mom and my sister and my whole family and all my friends are just like super supportive of me. And a lot of people don't have that. And so I really like it was like strange, because I felt really proud of Nate, because he finally realized that he had that all along.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a really magical moment. And actually, so when we recorded the song that I sing in that scene, No One Gets Left Behind, um Tim hadn't I was the only one that had heard it, other than, Tim and the people that worked on the song, but Tim had not shown it to any of the other actors, so that when we got onto set that day, he just focused the camera on the groups of people in the scene that was not me, and he played that song for the first time and got their genuine reactions. And it was like that. I think that's one of the reasons that that scene is so genuine and magical.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's really,
Yeah,
really cool.
thank you.
Wow, that's powerful. So, speaking of, you shared that you and Josh are really close. Sounds like you guys are best buds. Besides helping you stay grounded, was there anything else that you learned from him on set, whether it was some acting tips or ways that he would handle anything on set? What did you take away from him working with him as an actor?
I feel like that just like being around him, you just kind of like automatically get transferred some of that good energy, some of that like he's a great person. And like he brings that onto set. He brings that everywhere he goes. And he he told me that one of the like something along the lines of one of the best things you can do in a scene is to just be like authentic. Don't like overact it, because that's not what people want to see. They want to be able to relate. They want it to be real. And I feel like that that's really important, because if I'm watching a movie, I'm going to enjoy it more if I can connect on a deeper level with the character, if I can see myself in that character and be like, oh, I've gone through that too. So yeah.
That's amazing. So speaking of that and making your acting come across really authentic. Besides theater, what is your acting background? Are you self-taught? Do you train? Did you go to training? What does that look like?
So when I was 6, I kind of came out of the womb acting and performing. So when I was 6, my mom put me in a community theater production of Willy Wonka, and the
I know what you
Willy
mean.
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 6 years old, and for the stars must have aligned because they cast me as Charlie. So I was this little 6-year-old Charlie dancing around on stage going, "I've got a golden ticket." And and that kind of got me into that world. And I did a million things with that community theater, and they really kind of helped me get my love for theater. And then I moved on to doing some regional things, and then I got cast in the first national Broadway tour of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is a very full circle moment because that was the first show I did, and it was the first like big thing that I did. And I was on tour for a year and a half, which was some of the best memories of my whole life. I got so close with all of those people. And then when tour ended, COVID started. So like I went from traveling around and doing all of this stuff to just nothing. So there was no adjusting that happened. And it was kind of hard. But one of the things that, especially because there was no auditions coming in. But one of the things that helped me is, because you were talking about any training that I've done, I started doing an acting class on Zoom. I was doing Cynthia Bain's theater class, and that I did learn a lot from that. But I've always kind of just been self-taught, and it's always kind of come to me naturally. And I kind of learned through experiences. So I learned something new on every project that I did. So the first show I did made me learn new things so I could do the next show I did. And on tour, I learned things that translated into the movie. And on the movie, I learned a whole bunch of things that's going to translate into the next thing I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know, it's funny. I used to both attend and work at Cynthia Bain's Young Actors Studio. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with her.
Oh my gosh. No, I had the best time there. I made a whole bunch of friends. It was so good.
I couldn't agree more. It's an incredible studio.
It is.
That's amazing. Speaking of scenes and getting into the moment, what was it like filming the scene where your pants ripped? It looks like such a fun scene to shoot.
You know, that's really funny, and I'm really glad you asked that question, because on set, on the day we filmed that, my pants never ripped. That's all like after effects. So all I had to do was go Mazel Tov and then kneel down, and nothing happened. But in After Effects, they made my pants rip, and that was a really funny thing to see, because when I watched the trailer for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, that didn't happen. That's so cool.
Wow, that's so funny. That's cool. That's a fun little behind the scenes thing. Yes. That I'm sure is always fun to share with people. Yes. I love how actually Libby went with you to the city. Yeah. As opposed to the books where your character Nate just gets on the bus by himself. So what was it like working with Aria, who plays Libby? Was it hard filming that scene on the bus where you had to tell her you weren't attracted to her without telling her you weren't attracted to her? I can imagine that's just a lot of emotions going. What was it like to be in that moment?
Well, Aria Brooks is one of my favorite humans on this earth. We're so close. She's amazing. And that scene on the bus is like was really like you said, there's like a lot of emotion happening, because Nate has to say that he loves her, but but not in that way. Yeah. Because he's still trying to find who he is. He's still trying to find his place in the world. But it was we filmed that scene at the end of the day, so we had had a really long day and we were already kind of like tired and emotional. So I think that in those moments you just kind of have to use what you have. And we were both tired, so we just used that and put it into the scene. And it came out really well. And like you were saying, in the book, Libby does not go with him on the bus, but I really like the change from in the movie where she goes with him, because that way there's like, from a technical standpoint, that way there's someone in the scenes for him to talk to, because a lot of the book is what's going on in his head. But also it's just so much more fun. I feel like, so yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love to hear that. And like kind of you mentioned earlier about how Josh was telling you, like, you can't force it. It has to be real. It has to be authentic. So you were using what you had in that moment to create that scene. So that's really incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you also got to work with Lisa Kudrow, which is so exciting. She plays her Aunt Heidi. Say that again.
It's a dream.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. What was that experience like? And is it hard acting? Second part of the question, is it hard acting out scenes where you have to talk to adults in a manner that might not be appropriate or like you wouldn't do in real life?
Well, that both of those are really good questions. I'm going to start by saying Lisa Kudrow, not only is she hilarious, but she's so nice, and she's just like so down to earth, and I love her so much. And like acting with her, she gives something new to the scene every time. Like every take she brings something new, and she just kind of like lives in it, and I admire her so much. But what you were saying about like in being in scenes where like it's a little more mature in the, not only in the dialogue but in the acting and in like what's going on. I don't think that I personally ever had any like real trouble with that, because growing up I never really fit in with like the kids. I was always hanging out with the adults. I was always like on tour, I made friends with all the older cast members. I mean, me and Henry and Colin, who played the other two Charlies, are super close as well. But I always kind of like felt more at home with the adults, because I was just very mature for my age. Mm-hmm. So it feels less like it feels less out of the ordinary and more just like normal, like a conversation that I would have in my everyday life. So again, like with the like just being natural, it just kind of translates over.
Yeah, that's an incredible answer. I know you mentioned earlier that you were green, the lucky color. Yes. And in the film, Nate has a lucky rabbit foot. In real life, do you have any rituals or things that make you feel lucky? Or maybe it's an instance where you're in a scene or going to an audition where you feel nervous. Like, what's your one thing that's like your go-to that gets you through?
Oh, that's a great question. So me and Aria both are very into like crystals and like healing stones and stuff like that. So I always kind of, I have a necklace that I'm not wearing it right now, but I have a necklace that has like a ball at the end of it that you can put crystals in and switch them out. So I wear that if I'm ever feeling nervous with anything that's going on. But if I'm ever feeling nervous, or if I need a boost of luck, I believe in thinking things into existence. Mm-hmm. So I kind of talk about when I was auditioning for the movie, I talked about it as if I had already gotten the part, because I knew that would kind of like attract the experience like toward me. But at the same time, I know that like talking about it like you already have it can be, it's like a thin line to walk, because then you can become really sad and depressed when you don't get it. But I'm at a really good spot in my mental state where I understand if I don't get it, that just means there was a kid who was perfect for the role, and I know that my perfect role is going to come to me. So I feel like it's all about mindset. And yeah.
I love that. I know you touched on that a bit earlier when you said, if you don't get it, that means somebody else out there was perfect for it.
Yeah.
And that is such an incredible headspace to have, because there are so many, young actors that I'm sure look up to you. And it's so important that you share that message, because the industry is so challenging. And to have like a go-to that you can tell yourself to get you through the moment, to the next role, to the next audition, is so powerful. And I feel like will ultimately serve an actor so that they can continue their career for decades and decades to come, and not, burn out. So I love that that's your perspective and your take. I think that's so powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, the scene in Times Square. What was that like? What were those extras, or were you really in Times Square, just surrounded by a bunch of people that were not on set? What was it like filming, being surrounded by that many people? What was that process like?
Yeah, well, it was like incredible. If there's one good thing about COVID, it is that we could, like, because everything was shut down and there weren't a lot of people around, we could kind of, we filmed everything on location. So there were like, there was no like sets that were built. We filmed everything at the spot. So yeah, we were actually in Times Square. It was a night shoot. We shot until like 3 a.m. And so we were in Times Square, and there was a big section that was like barricaded off, but you can even see in that scene some like barricades, and everyone standing behind the barricades were not extras or part of the movie, but everyone on the inside of the barricades were extras. But there were people who were watching us film that had no idea like what the movie was. And like I was talking about how you can, when you're doing live theater, you can feed off the energy of the audience. And it was kind of that moment where I was like, I'm filming, but at the same time I have an audience. This is perfect for me. It was amazing, because like, who gets to say that they've like filmed until 3 a.m. in Times Square? Like, it was just wow.
Oh, I love that. I just got chills. That's amazing. What would you like people to take away from the film, from watching it? What's one thing that you really want them to remember?
Well, I think that the film like really resonates with finding your light and finding who you are and finding your place in the world. And I really hope that it inspires anyone, but specifically kids who feel like they don't fit in. I hope it inspires them to know that no matter where they are, that there is someone out there who supports you and who loves you. And I feel like that's really powerful, because there's a lot of kids who feel like they don't have a place in this world, and I just hope that they can see this and know that they do.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Is there anything that stuck out to you from your experience filming that you plan to take with you as you move forward in your career and in your life?
I think definitely, like I was saying earlier, that bit of coming onto set and just being that bubbly person, that infectious happiness. But also I feel like if I can do anything, it's to like pass the wisdom that I've learned from this down into like, if like when I'm an adult, if I'm working on a movie and there's other kid actors who are asking me like advice, I want to be able to tell them that not only like if they do that, they'll go so far, but like they'll also stay grounded, because that is one of the most important things in this business, because it will knock you down and it will stomp all over you if you let it. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to you have to stay grounded. You have to hold your ground and just be yourself. So that you don't get crushed, because that so easily happens.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. So we have to know, what is next for you?
Well, I don't know. I'm doing auditions. There is a New York City premiere on the 21st, which I'm very excited about. And then the movie comes out on April 1st. And I just hope that I know that there's more, and I'll just keep auditioning and keep doing things and keep pushing forward, and whatever happens, and I'll be okay with that.
Oh, I love it. I am so grateful to have met you. You are such an incredible, special person with,
thank you so much.
With a great outlook on life and perspective. And I know you're going to go so far. There's no limit for you. I do have one more question for you. In the end credit scene, it kind of goes through the book series. Is there a planned 5, 6, 7, Nate, the second book in the series, or Nate Expectations, the third book?
Well, I don't know. It could happen. It might not happen. I'm not really in control of that. Obviously I hope it happens so that I can be on set with all those people again. But I don't know. I don't know what's in the works.
Okay, well then we're just going to be so excited to see what happens. Thank you so much for joining us today, Young Entertainment Mag. So happy to have you, and we cannot wait to see what's next for you. We will always be cheering you on, and we hope you have the best day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ruby. Bye.
All right, bye.